Alright, hopefully this works. Just saw Spider-Man. I don't even know the title of this movie. Spider-Man No Way Home? No Way Home. Just saw Spider-Man No Way Home. Figured I'd review it real quick because saw it opening night. If I manage to make a video tonight reviewing it, maybe that'll work in my favor with the search engine or something. So if you're seeing this, that means I actually followed through, so good job me. If you're not seeing this, come on, Sean, do better. Alright, about to review it with spoilers, so if you didn't see the movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, don't look any further. The intro of this movie was pretty sick, okay? I actually really liked the idea and the exploration of, Peter's identity being revealed. And I think they kind of jumped away from that pretty quickly. Like, it was like he just goes to school, and then all of a sudden we go through months where he's, like, waiting for college letters. And I'm like, okay, like, feel like you guys can really show more of the struggle of now being a massive celebrity in school. I thought they could have used Flash a little more. He makes an appearance in the beginning and then doesn't really show up ever again. And I think the dynamic of him realizing who Peter is really cool. And they could have explored that in a cooler way. It was kind of cartoony. It was like, oh, I wrote this book. It's like, save that joke for later maybe. Don't come out the gate with that. But then we don't see him again. So it's like, oh, you use the joke now, I guess. But it just didn't feel as real as it could have. That said, I like the idea of them all trying to get into the same college. I thought it was weird they all didn't get in. I kind of was maybe expecting them later to reveal that, like, one of them was lying about not getting in. But just didn't really care about that struggle. And so, like, when he's, like, begging Doctor Strange, like, I kind of felt like Doctor Strange the whole movie, where I was like, Peter, bro, chill out. Like, it's not that big a deal. At the same time, I guess that's the point. He's, like, immature, I will say, okay, James Jonah Jameson kind of seemed pointless throughout. Like, he kept showing up and just being like, fucking, yeah, I hate Peter. And I'm like, he's not really progressing the story. He's just kind of there. Unnecessary. The Lizard kind of looked like shit. Looked lame, said lame things. Electro, I wasn't really enjoying that much. The Doc Ock battle, incredible. I love the reveal of Doc Ock. I loved everything they go through. I loved him saving the lady off the bridge. Amazing scenes. They really know how to entertain Marvel. Like, they do a good job. But there's, like, some things throughout where you're like, really? I like them revealing Ned having magic. I thought that was cool. I thought the seed they planted in the beginning where he mentions possibly having magic abilities and then coming back later to be pretty cool. My friends I texted about, they didn't really like that, which I could see why, but I enjoyed that. So Aunt May, she played a huge role, obviously, and she kind of was annoying me. Like, she's bugging Peter into, like, fixing these villains. And I'm like, why do you care so much about him fixing these villains? Like, I kind of get it. And then she's, like, really, like, pushing him. And she ends up getting herself killed by being there. I think, in theory, her being his Uncle Ben is pretty cool. I think the execution was a little cheesy. Aunt May really got in the way, and in a very kind of annoying way, where I'm like, dude, I don't really get your motivation here. I thought the intro of Happy was really good, where they show him getting broken up with by Aunt May. I was like, oh, that's going to be a really cool thing to explore. But we don't see him a lot. They just live in his house. And then, when she dies, I kind of thought it was really lame, where he just pulls up in the car, perfect view to see Peter, and they just lock eyes, and you could just see he's like, she's dead. Like, he just knows she's dead. And it's like, okay, that's the end of that, I guess. Like, what was the point of them breaking up? Like, shouldn't he be there heartbroken too? Maybe show him later. Like, it was just a very weird, he just, like, pulls up in front of the police, in front of everybody. He just somehow gets in there. Perfect view to be like, there's Peter, and there she is, dead. Confirms it, leaves. And I've been voicing a lot of qualms. But at the same time, it was entertaining. Moments dragged for sure. Okay, let's talk about the reveal of the other two Spider-Men. When Ned opens that portal, I'm like, oh shit! Like, I had no idea. I was like, there's fucking Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then for a second he looks at them, and I was like, wait, why isn't he getting excited to see them? And I was like, oh, and then it hits you, and then he runs in. It was a cool reveal. Toby's reveal was not as cool, but still epic. Now, the heart-to-heart they have kind of dragged for me. Didn't really feel that good. It felt kind of lame a little bit. But the humorous moments they have, both in the scaffolding and when they're making shit, those were really strong. The humor, honestly, was better than the deeper moments in this movie, I think. Although, that said, okay, the most powerful moment in the movie for me, the best part of this movie, without a doubt, is when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saves MJ and has the redemption of having a girl fall and him being there to save her without, making the mistake he made with Gwen. Dude, that was a very cool moment, and I teared up. That was the only time I teared up. But I might have been a full-fledged cry. The heart-to-heart with the Spider-Man at the end is pretty good. Goblin stabbing Toby was a little weird. It kind of felt like he killed him there. And then, they kind of, joke it off. And I was like, why'd you have him stab him? Why? That seemed kind of unnecessary. If he wasn't going to be oh, he dies now. He was kind of laying there. I was like, all right, I'm back up. Maybe that was the point? I don't know. There's some really cool moments in this movie, and it's very entertaining. It's just, the ending battle between all of them kind of was boring me. The moment they all swing together was cool. Goblin battle at the end was cool. I like that Toby stopped him. I thought that was cool. It's kind of weird how at the end, Tom Holland Spider-Man is like, oh, Doctor Strange, why don't you just do this spell? That'll solve it. And this, wizard is like, oh, that's a great idea. We can do that spell and solve all the problems. Yeah, the universe is breaking apart, but good job, Tom Holland. You know that spell. That said, it's cool that they're erasing everybody's memory and kind of, starting him from scratch. That's a cool twist to this Tom Holland Spider-Man that I'm excited to see progress. So, James Jonah Jameson had his moments, but, he's showing up at battles, yeah, fucking, there he is, I hate him, let's film, and, he's not in the way or anything, he's just kind of, we're cutting to him. I'm like, you don't really need to show him. I would have liked to see him be confused, wait, there's 3 Spider-Men? He's reporting on one, and it's not Tom Holland Spider-Man, and now he's like, wait, you're not, what? Would have been cool, too, to see another universe open where, Stan Lee comes through, and he's like, they're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the one that writes you guys. And they're like, what? Huh? They just have, this existential crisis. Kirsten Dunst comes in, and Toby's like, oh my god, MJ, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm not MJ. I'm Kirsten Dunst. I just play MJ. A real Truman Show moment for the Spider-Men. And, Spider-Man 4 is, just them going through, the fact that they're being written. Doctor Strange is, opening portals to, the writer's room in our universe. I'm like, God, can you just don't, I get the, character arc and stuff, but just let's stop doing this. I don't know. That's why I don't write Spider-Man. Those are the kinds of cool storylines that I like that they took this. The idea that they revealed his identity is cool. That's, we want, with storytelling, you want to see an interesting perspective in an interesting place. We don't want to see him get bit by the spider and beat the goblin. It's okay, now his identity's revealed. And then in the next one, he is a kid now, and the kid doesn't have superpowers, and he's living in the shadow of his, and it's and then in the next one, Spider-Man's retiring, and fucking he wishes he could, well, maybe this isn't a good superhero movie, but I'm ranting. What did I think of this movie? I'd say 6.5 to 7. I enjoyed it a lot. It had flaws, but it really was entertaining, done well. Did I say everything I want to say? I suck at movie reviews.